GeoFrame 4.5 Service Pack 3 introduces several enhancements in the Geoviz ASAP interface that improve usability, allowing an optimized workflow within this powerful automated horizon interpretation tool. Improvements to the user interface include terminology changes for better understanding, smart and intuitive default settings, new icons now available for easy access, automatic draped Z attribute, and default color spectrum on histogram. Additions to the ASAP functionality include auto retract interactive feature, new histogram correlation attribute, graphical windows automatically populated upon first pick, snap to active section feature, and one-line help for optimum interpretation guide. The first change you will notice in the ASAP parameters dialog is that all priority options now have new names. For better understanding, amplitude has been renamed to amplitude preference. The equal option name has been changed to proximity and amplitude. And what used to be root has been renamed to seed proximity. In the midsection of the parameters tab, maximum window has been renamed to display window length, representing the vertical range that you want to display in the graphical selector. In the correlation methods drop-down menu, waveform has been renamed to synthetic wavelet, and the display has been rotated so it shows the wavelet in the same orientation as the traces. ASAP has now been tuned with more intuitive default settings to allow you to get optimized results even from the first time run. Seed proximity has been set to be the default priority setting for its ability to track even the smallest and weakest amplitude events. For a refined and narrow focus on the event, the max dip trace window for inline and crossline directions in the time domain has been reduced from 14 to 10. For better control of the tracking results, use correlation is now on by default, and seed trace is the default correlation method. Seed correlation forces each ASAP pick to closely match the event pattern near your initial seismic interpretation, becoming the most recommended tracking method for unpredictable amplitude variations. To have the picks fall exactly on the event you have specified, use snap is now turned on by default, and its correlation value is set to 80% to allow seed point expansion. New ASAP options and drape and histogram icons have been added for quick access to these functions from the main ASAP parameters dialog. Now the Z attribute will automatically drape when you enter the ASAP drape and histogram dialog, and the default spectrum is set to rainbow. Geoviz ASAP has a new auto retract functionality to interactively evaluate the effects of various ASAP key parameters. When dip, correlation, or quality are modified, the auto retract option will automatically perform a retract by first removing the existing auto pick data and then restarting the auto picking without having to click on apply and control mouse button 3 start tracking. Using this functionality, you can easily evaluate which and how the parameters are affecting your tracking results. Through various iterations, you can determine the most suitable set of parameters for the event of interest. The histogram tool has now the ability to edit by correlation value. Correlation is a key parameter that can be used to QC the tracking since it matches an interval of two adjacent traces and picks the time or depth shift that has the least lag between the two traces. Once the results are evaluated based on this parameter, Unwanted interpretation can be easily removed through interactive histogram correlation editing. The dip and correlation windows on the ASAP parameters dialog are now automatically populated when creating a seed point using Control Mouse Button 1. This allows you to instantaneously connect the current pick with its graphical display and the associated ASAP parameters without having to use the Control Mouse Button 3 track window extra step. Now, by pointing with your cursor to a horizon pick and using the hotkey W, you can make the active pan, inline, crossline, or time slice jump to the current pick location. This action automatically populates the dip and correlation windows on the ASAP parameters dialog, allowing a smoother workflow during the seed picking and ASAP tracking quality control. To improve the ASAP help facilities, for each ASAP parameter, a one-line help is now available in the ASAP parameters dialog. Just point your cursor to any parameter and a concise description of it will appear in the bottom of the ASAP parameters dialog. This video is a presentation of the enhancements that have been added to Geoviz ASAP in GeoFrame 4.5 SP3. Please refer to the release notes for a list and description of these enhancements.